Good morning, good morning. It's Friday, it's the 29th of October, and I'm Karen Curitin of Curitin Consulting here live. Excuse me, 2 minutes late today, and back here for the first time in a couple of weeks. Good morning, Claire, nice to see you. So, today's topic, COVID learnings. Unfortunately, 2.5 weeks ago, I came down with COVID. And it's really interesting because people say to you, well, how did you get it? Are you double jabbed? And I think there's a natural curiosity thing. Was I anywhere near you? So today, I'm really going to share a bit of insight really into what I learned about myself. Firstly, I'm human and still struggling to, if I'm honest, still not back up to full capacity. But I want to share some of those learnings with you and the impact and how that's worked with my business. Now, fortunately, I was very lucky in that we'd planned a week off and a week away, and I got out of isolation, excuse me, just as we were going away. But it was a little bit of a sucker punch, shall we say, because when you work for yourself, as a lot of you do, your business is very dependent on you. Unless we start cloning ourselves, people expect to see us. And if we can't deliver that, then it becomes very difficult because our livelihood is affected. In fact, morning, Claire, nice to see you. In fact, one of my lovely long-standing clients, Anne Letherland, she had a fall on Wednesday night. She was out in Birmingham. She's broken her arm. And I think as business owners and active business women and men, we are potentially quite vulnerable. I know that a lot of people are frightened to say on social media that they've had it. Now, I made a conscious decision at the time I was unwell not to talk about it. Morning, Sandra, nice to see you. Because I didn't want people, there is that concern that people think, oh, well, is the work that she's doing for me going to be compromised? Morning, Laura, nice to see you here today. And it is really appalling that people are frightened to say anything. There's a guy I know on LinkedIn who does a huge amount of stuff on LinkedIn, and he posts very much by the seat of his pants. Fantastic local businessman. I really love what he does on LinkedIn. And I'd noticed that he hadn't been around actually the same time that I hadn't been around doing lives and stuff. And turns out he's not been well either. But why is there a stigma attached to admitting that we are human? And I suppose one of my big learnings is that, yes, the people I would call my close business friends and personal friends knew that I wasn't well because I was telling them because I'd been with them actually. I've been with them and I was terrified in case I'd given it to them. Excuse me. Cheers, everybody. Oh, and I've got to tell you, heading off to beautiful South Wales was the perfect antidote to it. But let's just say it's important that we make sure our business is protected. And one of the big things that I've learned is there is the joy of being face-to-face. And I will continue to offer face-to-face. So funny enough, I went yesterday to get my nails done. And the girl who does my nails has rang me when I was away in Wales. And I said, she said, you don't sound very well. I said, I've had COVID. I'm getting better now. She heard words to me yesterday. Well, you're probably the most safe person to have in my salon today because now I've got more immunity. But I think it's really important that we are open about it. And I had a lady, in fact, the lovely Sophie Downing emailed me yesterday and apologized. She hadn't been in touch because she's had it. And I think people are very understanding when you say I'm not 100%. In fact, the day before I went, when I was still isolating, I was with a client and I emailed him the night before and said, just like, I'm not 100%, but I don't want to let you down. I'm going to put the ball in your court. And people are intrinsically kind, aren't they? But there is another big element of my learnings is that those of you who know me, that I'm pathologically obsessed with being organized and planning. And this is where it really came into force, in that I had on that Monday, before I was fully unwell, on that Monday, I had planned all of my social media for the next 2 weeks because I didn't want to come back from my holiday rushing to get everything sorted. I wanted to make sure I had everything mapped out for my clients, so my clients' stuff was all in place. And it meant that when I started to really go downhill Tuesday-ish, I could just check in on my emails. I didn't even put in and out of office. But I think as business owners, it becomes so important that you plan and schedule stuff as much as you can. And 100% of the time where you can go live, because there is that reality that's true you that will only come across on a live, that will be that person who is really you, and people will have touch points with you. And in fact, I had this conversation with a lady, a new client of mine, on Monday, first day back, had a call with her. Really interesting lady. She has a business and she's been picked up by so many magazines. It's all about animals and tuning into animals' energy and reflection. It's a fascinating business. I'm going to be doing a LinkedIn Live with her, I think, next month. But she's going to be on the One Show as well. So have a look out for her. Tara P&S, as she's called. Her business is called Animal Reflection. But one of the things that she and I were talking about is how the fact that I get more website traffic from Facebook than I do from any other social media platform. Even though most of my clients are on LinkedIn, I get more website traffic from Facebook. And the interesting thing was she was saying exactly the same with her business. And I said, well, I've actually been considering whether to continue with my Facebook Lives because I don't truly get business. However, a lot of people lurk. So if you are in doubt, have a look at your numbers, have a look at your reach. And this last couple of weeks has taught me that more than ever, is having a look at my Google Analytics, having a look at my Facebook Insights. They went through the floor because I missed 2 weeks of lives. Now, do I get clients from my Facebook Lives? Don't know necessarily, but I'm touching in with people because I will ask people to share at the end of my lives. I always say, if you found this helpful, please share with your network. So, and a really interesting tip that I've just been picking up on, I've been doing a Facebook Reach course. And at the minute, I've got to be honest, my energy levels in the afternoons aren't great. And so I'm trying to do the majority of my work, my paid work, stuff that pays the bills, in the mornings, and in the afternoons I'm doing some learning. And I was reading about Facebook groups that you link to your Facebook business page. Really interestingly. So some of you may have had an invitation to my Karen's VIPs group. If you're a client and you're on my online program, you won't have had that because you get the good stuff already. But my Karen's VIPs group is actually linked to my Facebook business page. Helps your traction, helps your algorithm. There's a good top tip for you ladies. It is where your perfect clients are, Laura. This lady I was talking to on Monday was saying that she is on every platform. But where are her perfect clients? And you may have several client avatars. You might, Laura, want to work with, say, a bigger agency, and they're going to be on LinkedIn. But actually, the people that work at that agency may well be on Instagram. and they may see your work and share it with their colleagues. And that's the dilemma, isn't it? It's about having that. And the great thing is about going live on LinkedIn and Facebook, you can do it all at once via StreamYard. There are other platforms. And actually, this is streaming straight through to my YouTube channel as well. So if you hop over to YouTube, you will see all of my recent lives. So sometimes it's about where you can get the most traction and understanding that it isn't a one size fits all. The content that I put onto LinkedIn isn't necessarily the content I'm going to put to Facebook. Because the really interesting thing, just touching on LinkedIn, since we're live on LinkedIn at the moment, is there's been a shed load of changes happening on LinkedIn this very week. Really interesting stuff. There's a lot of new things for freelancers connected up with your services page. If you haven't got creator mode switched on LinkedIn, make sure you have, because it allows you to have another page set up. And they're gradually rolling out additional tools within that. I checked the other day, I don't have them yet. The same as there's new features in LinkedIn company pages, and they are being rolled out gradually. All of these have been announced in the last 3 or 4 days. So people who are part of my Facebook VIPs group will get access to this information. So if you aren't part of my Facebook VIPs group, have a look at it. It's called Karen's VIP. It's not very complicated, not very clever marketing, but I'm inviting people that I'm connected with on Facebook to it. If you're not connected with me on Facebook, drop me a message and we'll sort that out. Because what I like to do, as you know, with my regular lives, is share all of these tips. So really, my call to action to you today is, if you found this helpful, please share it with your network. If you aren't on my mailing list, get in touch with me today, because today is the last day of my 5 days of Black Friday. I know it's October, but I thought, do you know what it is? By the end of November, we won't be thinking about investing in ourselves to grow our businesses. So I've done 5 days of Black Friday offers. And this is a classic, absolutely, Claire, this is a classic example of foggy COVID head. I plan to do my Black Friday offers from this Monday right through to today. The last one's gone out today. Not thinking for a minute that it's half term in most of the country. That's a classic example of me not being 100%. So hands up and apologising. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a follow-up email on Monday to say, here's a digest of last week's offers if you missed them. Because I'm sure if you were receiving daily emails from yours truly and you're on holiday, you're just going to click delete, delete, delete. So classic bad planning. But hey, make a note to self, don't do it again. And next October, it's in my diary already. Have a look at it and check the half terms before I launch my Black Friday in October offers. But it is a good tip, because if you're going to do a Black Friday offer, why not do it this month, or why not do it several weeks ahead? Nice to see you, Laura. Good to see you. Thank you. And so if you haven't had the emails this week, you're obviously not on my mailing list, or check your junk. If you wanted to find out what the offers were, drop me a line and I will pop it onto my platforms on Monday as well. And as ever, if there's any topics that you'd like me to talk about, drop me a message. And I will see you this time next week. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend. Take care, everybody.